Okay. Good evening, everybody. We are welcome to today's seminar, today's section, which is going to be anchored by Professor Chioma Azuzu. She is a professor of counseling and clinical psychology at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. So this evening, she's going to be talking to us on the topic which we all know to be premarital behavior necessary for marriage. And before I give her the floor to talk about today's topic, I want to beg everybody, as you come in, please mute yourself so that we can all hear ourselves. And when it's time for us to ask questions, just raise your hands and you will be called. So right now, I want to invite Professor Chioma Azuzu to please take over the floor as she gives us the talk for today. Thank you. Mama, please.
Thank you. I'm coming. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma.
You can share your slide now, Prof. I have allowed you to do that.
Yes, I will do so. Good evening, everyone, once again. My name is Chioma Azuzu from the University of Ibadan. I'm a counseling and clinical psychologist. I'm also a psycho-oncologist in the University of Ibadan. And our topic for discussion this evening is premarital behavior necessary for marriage. Because of this, okay, this is the outline of our presentation. We are going to look at concept of behavior, sources of behavior, concept of premarital behavior, types of premarital behavior, effects of premarital behavior on marriage and family, and consequences of this behavior on the society and our economy. So at the end of this lecture, we are going to identify the concept of premarital behavior, components of premarital behavior, effects of premarital behavior, consequences of premarital behavior, and then we look at few recommendations. Human behavior refers to different types of physical actions and observable emotional action associated with individuals, which may change over time as one grows and develops from birth through childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. Behavior is amalgam or unit of actions. Behavior is also a mental and physical processes of a human being and subhuman organisms. Other subhuman organisms, like because we look at dogs, they also have behaviors. Akimboye in 1996 posted that behavior is the reaction of neuromotor system to the environment. It could also, behavior could be passive, aggressive, and also assertive. Behavior could be covert or also overt. We can further classify behavior as appropriate behavior, deficit behavior, excess behavior, inappropriate behavior, and maladaptive behavior. Three main categories of behavior are deficit behavior, excessive behavior, weak behavior, or maladaptive behaviors. So behavior is a response to things that are happening. It could be internally, such like our thoughts, our feelings, and it could be externally as we react or interact with environment and people around us. And so this is a human behavior and its principles, that all behavior occur for a reason. Behaviors stop occurring when they are inefficient. Almost all human behaviors are learned. And so as a scientific behavior modificator, we believe that you learn a behavior, you can also unlearn a behavior. So we believe that we learn a behavior, and there are different factors of things that can make us learn behavior. Some of them can be inherent, some of them can be environmental. Behaviors also continue to occur because they are effective. No behavior, if behavior does not occur, then it goes off because behaviors are necessary actions. So marriage and family. Marriage is a legal, cultural, and spiritual union of two adults, male and female. It can also be called matrimony or wedlock. It also establishes rights and obligations between them, as well as between them and their children, between them and their in-laws. This union could lead to establishment of families, and we acquire behavior from our families. And that's, with that, we cannot overemphasize the importance of family as a bedrock on which we acquire behavior. So marriage and family, a covenant with God, marriage covenant pyramid. You cannot really, in the context of Christian marriage, do anything without God. In marriage relationship, we are each husband and wife. It's like a triangle where God is up and pulling two of us together, and we are focusing on him. This triangle makes a lot of sense to me. I read the book by Fountain Sheen, written by Fountain Sheen.
Fountain Sheen.
Yes, a marriage triangle in which with God and pulling two of you. And every day as you interact, you get closer to each other. And that imparts upon which you will parent your children, upon which you will be involved in their lives, upon which that you will not just transmit only things that will help them build their careers, but you focus also on the spiritual needs of the children as they come up with that behavior that will be necessary for marriage. Importance of marriage and family. Marriage provides opportunity for companionship. Marriage is also necessary for procreation. We are not just production. Procreation means we need to be involved in character formation of our children. Marriage is also gives us a legitimate outlet for the release of sexual passion, while family provides the physical, emotional, socio-economical, and spiritual support for us to parent our children, for us to support each other along the continuum of family life circles. We gain insights about ourselves and each other in the family. In the family that we're there, we try to understand ourselves, understand husband and wife, understanding themselves, the siblings understanding themselves. You understand the external family. Remember, when we are talking about family, we are looking at monogamous family, and we are looking about other types of family that will enable us work together and support us along the line of family circles, so that we'll be able to give to our children. They'll be able to develop behaviors that will help them in marriage. It helps us to acquire knowledge about human development and the behavior necessary for family development. Many a time, many people, even the family, they don't understand the concept of human development. We need the concept of human development to understand the necessary behaviors that are expected at each milestone of an individual, and so that we can understand it and help. As a family, is the basis, is the unit of behavior modification. Family is a behavior modificator itself. So it helps us along that way. Understanding marital and family pattern and processes. Family helps us to acquire interpersonal skills for present and for future family roles and responsibilities. Family is cyclical. You are born into family. The concept after the celebration of marriage, a family is established. And along that line, children are welcome, children are needed, children are trained, and they continue from childhood, and they go to adolescence, they go to early childhood, they go to time for marriage, and they marry and they continue their own lives that way. And so family helps us to build this interpersonal relationship, especially the time for dependent relationship, dependency, when the children are totally dependent on the parents for everything. And that is also the time they develop some behaviors. Premarital behavior. There is a continuum of premarital behavior, which is dependent premarital behavior and independent stages. During the stages, when a child is born, the child is totally dependent on the parents. Because they're totally dependent on the parents, these children watch their parents, whether they are happy, whether they are not happy, how are they relating with each other, how is the father and mother relating, what are the series of family life dynamics that goes into the family. These children are totally dependent on their families. And this is the time they grow in love, they grow in maturity, they grow in ability to relate with each other and to develop behaviors that are necessary for them, such like honesty, ability to fear God, prayer, character development, values necessary for them to grow, respect. This is the time that these children do this. Independent stages, these people have grown into adolescent stages, they're already in the university, and very soon they will become young adults. They've acquired almost all the behavior that they will need necessary for marriage. Like we define behavior, behavior can change and change. You acquire, you learn and unlearn. Premarital behavior, simply put, refer to activities carried out by single males and females or intended couples. Now, these ones I'm talking about is the independent stages. They learn each other. They've acquired the rudimentary things they learned when they're totally dependent on their families. People tend to identify with people with similar social values in any social relationship, including intimate relationship that is geared towards marriage. The premarital stage is therefore the phase where two people get to know each other, where they work out factors that will help them, that will guarantee their physical, emotional, social needs, that will be reasonable, that and enhance their marital satisfaction and stability in future. It is also a phrase where crucial life issues are discussed and mutual understanding gotten before they venture into marital relationship. And these factors could be based on Jackson 2099, and I classified them as familiar factors, individual factors, contextual factors, and couple factors. Familiar factors, things that we need to know in the family that we want to go. We want to know about them. We want to know about the family. We want to know how they relate. We want to know whether their mental health issues. We want to know about their education. We want to know about how mature they are. We want to know about the relationship that goes into their parents. We want to know if they want to introduce us to their parents. What are the things that are going in there? This is the time you study to know whether you will be able to go into this kind of thing. Then individually, you want to know about the person. Is the person properly matured? Does he have anger issues? Can he love? Does he steal? Is he lazy? Is he hardworking? Could he relate with you? These are some of the things that you need to know about that individual. What about sexuality? Is he menstruating? Sometimes you hear people, they marry, but the person has not menstruated. You don't really know this person. You should know whether this person has ever menstruated. Has he menstruated? What is it all about? These are the times we learn about all these things. Then we look at also, that's where we look at communication, education. Is the person going, is he educated? How far has he gone with his education or her education? Employment, is the person employed or is not going to be employed? Does he have what it takes to be employed or not? What about marriage and family life? Is he going to take it serious? When you people marry, will your parents visit the home? Are you going to earn money? Are you going to work? Are you going to further your education? Premarital sexual behavior, how is it? Is it demanding sex? Is it going to be demanding sex before you people actually marry? What's the behavior like? Premarital drug behavior. Is this person into drug? Is he addicted? Is he not addicted? What is this person's personality trait like? Premarital borrowing behavior. Does he borrow money? You hear people when they want to wed, they want to borrow money. Why do you need to borrow money for your wedding? Why can't you do a simple wedding? Why do you need to call people at the end of the day? That you, after that, you start running about. Your phone will be ringing. You say you are not around. Nobody should pick it. Nobody should do that. Is it necessary? What about the defensive friendship and relationship behavior? Very, very important. Does he respect you? Does he look at you as a human being? Look at human sexuality. What is that person like? You look at it and study it, and very, very important. Social interaction. Does the person play? Play is very, very important in the two people growing together and want to be husband and wife. What about cooperation? Will they be able to cooperate with each other? Will they be able to agree? Have they had conflict? How did they manage it? Because marriage is about a series of conflicts and resolution. If you have not had conflict and you're a long person, then you should go and have one. What about anger? Anger management. Be able to do that. What about honesty, fear of God, maturity? All these are variables of premature behavior that are very germane in people wanting to get married, people necessary for marriage. Then I've taken just one because there's so many of them. I'm going to look at premarital sexual behavior and its consequences. There are so many premarital behavior, we just mentioned them. I'm going to look into detail premarital sexual behavior. Premarital sexual behavior is it's something that is common among the young people. That is sexual activity before marriage. Before, we don't used to have this very thing like this. But now it's like the abnormality is now the normal. It refers also sexual activity between individuals who have not taken marital vows or who are not legally registered or culturally registered before they entered into marital institution. Such behaviors include, but not limited to, kissing, hugging, romancing, fondling of genital organs, sex, and sexual intercourse. These behaviors, which are perceived as moral decadence some decades ago, are now socially acceptable in some quarters. This is because females' proofs of virginity on the night of the wedding, which was held as high esteem, is no longer honored. And nobody is ready to look at this. It's like it is old fashioned. So don't talk about it. So I want us to look at the burden of premarital sexual behavior. In 2013, the Federal Ministry of Health survey on sexual behaviors of Nigerians revealed that almost half of the females, which is 42.2%, and about a quarter of males, 22.1%, between the ages of 15 and 19 have been engaged in sexual intercourse. According to Mohasin Bello et al. 2017, a study of southwestern Nigeria discovered that 28% of adolescents have premarital sex before the age of 18. This was also corroborated in Olatunji 2019, who found out that 59.5% of female undergraduates had engaged in premarital sex by the age of 18. Hoffert and Hayes 2017 further revealed that 84% of women in West Africa expressed attitude in favor of premarital sexual behavior. Nigerian Demographic Health Survey 2019 revealed that 7.9% of boys and 9.8% of girls aged 15 to 19 years had sexual intercourse with persons who were neither their husbands nor lived with them. It was further submitted that over the past 10 years, 63% of female students in Nigerian tertiary institutions have engaged in premarital sex. Center for Disease Control and Prevention 2022. This is the burden of exposure of our young people to premarital sex. And then we look at what are the consequences of this. What are the causes of this premarital behavior? Premarital sexual behavior can be caused by many factors, ranging from age, environment, peer influence, family structure, socioeconomic status, and parenting styles, hormonal effects, youth curiosity, risky sexual behavior, substance abuse, early sexual debut, sex with multiple partners, unpromoted sex, sexual harassment, poor school discipline, religious teaching, and the generation of moral values. Furthermore, erotic relationship among students, pornography, pleasure, indecent dressing, exposure, cultism, use of force, ignorance, and lack of sexual education can cause premarital sexual behavior. Consequences of premarital sexual behavior cannot be overemphasized. We are in the society. We know some of them, but we can classify them into sexual and physical or health, socioeconomical, psychological, emotional. There are so many of them, economical and spiritual consequences. Premarital sexual behavior can lead to a lot of diseases, such as unintended pregnancies, sexually transmitted diseases, gonorrhea, syphilis, candidiasis, chlamydia, HIV/AIDS. It can also lead to other gynecological problems. It can also expose somebody to cancer of the cervix. Academic performance and school dropouts. Psychologically, it leads to guilt, emotional implications, socioeconomic implications, and physical implications. We have loss of respect, regret, loss of family support, depression, sadness. They can even lead to victims of rituals, substance abuse, suicidal ideation, divorce, even when they eventually get married, or sexual dissatisfaction among the married people. This has a lot of negative consequences on the individual, on marriage, family life, work, and society. A lot. It leads us also to infertility. Many of the young people, they get married. There are so many problems because they have been involved in a lot of the procurement of abortion before marriage. They use a lot of contraceptive pills. Some of them will delay menses. We not even allow menses to occur. We not even allow them to ovulate. And there's a lot of consequences on this thing. And the most important of this thing, the frightening aspect of it, that it affects the ladies more than the men. And it takes two to tango. It takes the men for the women to have premarital sex. So the men are involved. so much about in all these things. So we can further classify this thing into physical, emotional, economical, and spiritual consequences of premarital and sexual behavior. Spiritual effect of premarital sexual behavior. We know, according to the Bible, say our body is the temple of our Lord Jesus Christ. When we engage in premarital sexual behavior, we are committing adultery. We sin against the temple of the Holy Spirit, the body of Christ. They sin against our body, which is the temple of our Lord Jesus Christ, which is the temple of the Holy Spirit. And so we don't have good relationship with God. And you see, when I projected the triangle where God is there, we don't have a good relationship with God, and that will affect us so much spiritually. Sin destroys attentiveness to God's command and ultimately prevents salvation. Sin dishonors and destroys marriage, which is a special, honorable creation of God for our spiritual benefit. Some of the Bible references, Ephesians 5:3-1, 1 Corinthians 6:8, 1 Thessalonians 4:3-5. There are a lot of them. That this is spiritual effect of premarital sexual behavior. Now, we know that for us to really marry properly, have the behavior necessary for marriage, which I have enumerated, we need to enter into marriage properly. Intending couples should study each other properly before marriage. Discuss this. We should not marry in a haste. We should study each other properly, discuss it properly, and find out that we are compatible and we are going to be able to live together and manage our life. They should never rush into marriage. Parents should create conducive atmosphere for parenting, especially during the dependent stages of their children. When they depend on their children, when their children depend on them, when their children watch them, not just what they tell them, but what they themselves are doing, that's when they should be very, very careful. Parents should not neglect the spiritual growth of their children at the expense of career. Parental involvement should be highly emphasized along the continuum of premarital behavior. Marriage and family life enhancement programs should be made available for couples. Prayer is the key for successful marriage, successful parenting, successful relationship, successful life. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening.
Wow. We want to thank Prof for a wonderful seminar this evening. She has talked so much, and I believe we have learned a lot. So right now, we're rooms now, our Father will give us details of how the breakout will look like. But in all, we cannot please stop thanking Prof for doing justice to the topic, and it is well read out. And for group one in the breakout room, your topic of discussion will be discuss reasons why premarital relationship is important. For group two, how long should a couple be together before marriage? For group three, what are behaviors that are detrimental to healthy marriage and how can they be corrected?
Gotten on time, then it will affect them all through. Then when it comes to instead of being open and they appreciate the partner positively in terms of looking at the outcome and the behaviors the person exhibits, if each of them continue to focus on the negatives and the nagging, then there will be a lot of conflicts And when the conflict starts, it gives room to a lot of quarrel, people not paying attention to the positivity of the next person and the effort the other person also is making in terms of building up that relationship. So this will affect it. Then if there is no boundary, if both of the partners they do not have boundaries, then it will become a problem as well, because in any relationship, there should be boundaries, so that each person, they will know their boundaries and also know how to help, and they also understand the other person. Because when this person needs this and the other person doesn't need that, okay, they should know when is the right time really to be, and they also to do things, give each person space as well, because they have their own individual needs and the other things they also need. Thank you.
Thank you very much. How many minutes do we have left? Can we have Maria? Maria, can you say something? And then we summarize what we have.
I've said something now. Thank you.
You know, these days people say, okay, that prayer has changed the genotype from SS to AA and all of that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, they say prayer does. They said prayer changes genotype from AS from SS to AA,
Like that,
and vice versa. And some couple now will just say, okay, I love you. It is the will of God. I love you. They will now, some may not even pray to really seek the face of God concerning that marriage before they go into it. They just walk by sight. They say, okay, he has this, he can take care of me, forgetting those other medical aspects of it. At the end of the day, they face a dilemma for the rest of their life when they start having sickle cell children, or they start having children with one abnormality or the other, like my brother has just mentioned, the issue of epilepsy. These are all the things we really need to consider and to counsel our upcoming young couples too, that they should take the medical aspect of their spouses or their intending partners very important. Thank you.
Yeah, there are different forms of deceit in a relationship. We have been able to enumerate some of them now. So is there any other point that...
Yes, some hands are raised. There are some hands that are raised.
Okay.
Jacinta Mario and Maggie have been raising her hand.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes. My own point is on parental, the church, and the youth, or those who enter marriage themselves, their own commitments and obligation. Let me start from parenting. Most parents recently pay attention mostly on their child academics more than their spiritual and their home. What do I mean by this? Some of them don't have time to call their youth, maybe their boys or girls that has reached the age of maturity, to tell them the story of what marriage is all about, their family history, and their genealogy, like we cited with that of epilepsy or whatever. So these children, they now have the sense of marriage from friends, what they get from Facebook, what they get from social media or friends, and that's what they abide with, or the kind of marriage they would like to emulate. And there I will blame some of us, the parents. We're supposed to start preparing them for marriage from home and tell them some histories, especially.
So we are all back now. Let's give ourselves 60 seconds to make sure we are all together before I call on each of the group leaders to tell us what their groups discussed, and so that we all will learn See me now. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so if we are ready, I will now call on the leader of Group 1 to tell us what they have discussed in their own group. So can we have the leader of Group 1? Let Group 2 and Group 3 leaders please prepare themselves. I will call them immediately. Please, you have 5 minutes to tell us all you have discussed in your group so we can keep to time. The leader of Group 1, please.
Can you unmute yourself, please?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Oge Okuri. In the Group 1, we discussed the reasons why premarital relationships are important. And the following reasons we are given. The first is that we discussed that the would-be couples, the intending couples, need to know each other. That's why one of the reasons they need to know each other. And they need to be aware
Please, if you are the leader of the party, just unmute yourself and so that we can all hear you. Unmute yourself. Sorry about that.
Okay. So I said that the reasons why premarital relationships are important are as follows. One, so that the will-be couples will get to know each other well, to be aware of each other's their temperaments, like how they react to certain things. It's when they relate to each other, they'll be able to find out how each other behave certain things, towards certain things, how they react to certain things, what they want, their likes and dislikes. And it will help them to also build friendship before marriage. And in an attempt to build friendship, they'll be able to see whether this person they are relating with is somebody they are emotionally connected with or not. And because what we are going into is something, it is for better for worse. So they see whether it is something that when the going is tough, whether they can be able to manage with this person. It also helps them to plan what their family will look like when they settle down together. They should be able to discuss things like to know themselves, how they will react to, is the woman going to work, or will the man work while the woman is at home, taking care of the family? Like, how many children are we going to have? Are we going to allow our relations to come in and things like that? So generally, to know how to plan what they will want their family to look like when they eventually get married. Also, it helps them to understand the roles and the responsibility each of them will take up when they get married. Like their finances, how they will put them together. Are they going to have separate accounts or joint accounts and things like that? And even though so many things, they are going to, it helps them to know themselves so well, to be able to know whether actually I'm compatible with this person, whether we can actually end up as husband and wife and be happy. Now, we also said that all these things we have discussed, they are so nice, they are nice, but you see that in reality, when marriage course is going on and these things are brought up, the time for marriage course is not so long. It's a short period of maybe 3 months or thereabouts. And so to take care of all this within such a short time is not possible. And so we suggested that it should be taken in stages. Like once a girl or a boy decides that I'm not going to the religious life or the priesthood, like after secondary school, these things should have been started, the stages, helping them to begin to understand that these are the things that they have to know about each other before they finally settle down. And if at the end of it all, maybe the lady or the man finds out that there are some issues that he or she is battling with, then the person should be courageous enough to seek help, maybe to a psychologist or whoever that will be able to help the person to work on whatever difficulty the person is having, maybe anger issue, or maybe somebody who is not able to manage finance or whatever it is. Once it has been discovered, they'll be able to work on it. And this cannot be discovered if there was not a relationship at all. So these were the things I was able to capture from our discussion. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Group 1. Can we have the leader of Group 2 to talk about what they discussed in their group? Please, if I call on you, can you just unmute yourself?
Yes, I have. Good evening, everyone. Group
Good evening.
2, how long should a couple be together before marriage? So we were looking at courtship. And the general consensus is that 6 to 9 months was generally agreed. Too long courtship, if not fruitful. Somebody talked about too long courtship. Now, the courtship is not fruitful, maybe 1.5 years, and then you find yourselves incompatible, you separate, and then go into another relationship, and it keeps going like that. So the question is, for how long will this go on? So based on that, majority looked at minimum of 6 months and maximum of 9 months period of courtship. And during this time, the couple would ensure there's open communication between them. Yeah, the courtship is short with reliance on God for success, but they are going to look at communication and ensure that communication between them is open. There's no secrecy, no distrust. And while at that, they're observing their temperament. They're observing their level of anger management and helping each other. At the same time, they are looking for compatibility issues. Emphasis was laid on mental health, especially also in the cases of arranged marriages. During that short period, one will look out for mental health, family background, and all other things. And then if not workable, the couple can immediately do away with each other. Now, another reason for the 6 to 9 months, yes, six months of getting to know each other. Thereafter, after these 6 months, they now go in for premarital instruction, during which time, while they're in the class, they're observing themselves, how they assimilate what is being talked about, their level of understanding of those things, and then it would help them also to go back and fall on discussion among themselves, which is also open communication. It will also enable them at this time to observe and discover their potentials. So that was generally what was discussed on duration, on how long couples should stay together before marriage in Group 2. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Group 3, can the leader omit?
We are here, Group 3.
Okay, so you have the floor.
Yeah, we discussed on behaviors that are detrimental to a healthy marriage and how they can be corrected. We noted that openness in marriage is very, very important. And this can be achieved through regular communication. The couples should endeavor to always communicate their needs and desires to each other. This can promote a healthy marriage. Otherwise, it can be detrimental to a healthy marriage. The second point we noted is that unity of purpose in marriage matters a lot, as this, if properly practiced, can promote a healthy marriage. So two of them should work with the same mind in carrying out their activities. Now, another point we observed is that couples should avoid comparing their marriage with others. We observe that every marriage is unique in its own sense. So do not compare your marriage with that of your neighbor, your friend, or any other person. And that could be detrimental to a healthy marriage. Another point we observed is deceit. Some couples are very good at deceiving themselves in their relationship, and the deceit continues in their marriage. Some could even hide certain vital information from their partners. There could be serious illness in their family lineage, yet they will hide it from their partner. And when they do this, and the partner later discovers, so it brings some conflict into the relationship. So we advise that couples should learn to avoid any form and all forms of deceit in their relationship and in their marriage. Now, we pointed out parental neglect. Some parents are too busy, or for one reason or the other, they will not be available to advise their children on the tenets of marriage. So when children who suffer this neglect from their parents get into marriage, they may not, maybe they'll heard about marriage through the internet, through their friends, and they will think that is the proper way to go about it. Such marriages suffer some form of suffer so many things that will be detrimental to their marriage. These are some of the points that we noted in our discussion. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you to the leaders of Group 1, 2, and 3 for taking out time to actually write down all that the groups discussed. We are very, very grateful. Now, for your questions, because this is now time for questions and answers. Please, for your questions, can you put up your questions in the chat box so I will read it because of time? Because if we give ourselves time to talk, we might end up exceeding the time we want to say today. So please, if you have any questions for this evening for Prof or for Father, please put up those questions in the chat box so that we can read them out and Prof will answer them for us. So whoever that has questions, just put them up in the chat box and we will read them out. So Father, as we wait for them to put up the questions, do you have anything to say so that we'll give them time to actually write it out in the chat box? So we can use this time to wait. Instead of just waiting, you can just help us with one or two things here, Father.
There's one in the chat box. There's a question in the chat box.
No, you can read out the questions in the chat box. Check if there are questions on the chat box that will come towards the end.
Okay, for the leader of Group 2, how long should couples stay together before marriage?
The questions are directed to the speaker.
Somebody is asking, how long should couples stay together before marriage?
Question now, or do I wait for more questions?
No, Prof, take the one after
Keep
John.
go with this
Okay,
one now.
okay,
So as more coming,
okay,
we will not give them.
okay, okay. So somebody is asking, how long will the couple stay together before marriage? We have listened to the talk and we have listened to the discussions after the talk. I will say, how long it takes you to know that person properly? How long you feel you can communicate freely with this person? How long it will take you to be free emotionally, to say this person is my friend. I can really communicate freely with this person. How long you think you have identified various areas of issue of personality behavior, familiar, individual, contextual, and the couple itself. Do you know this family very well? Have you gone to see them, the parents, both parents? Will you work? Will you go to work? Will you go out? Will your parents visit you? If you can answer all these questions, have you done your tests? You should do your blood test. You should know your genotype. That does not mean you will not marry. What you should know. You should be able to know. You should investigate. You know, during the olden days, our parents used to ask questions about families. This family, is it good? Are they known very well for beating people? Are they mentally okay or not? How long it will take you to know all these things and you answer these questions? It is also good for you to ask. You know, men need to, when you do life education, what is the arousal pattern? This man, can you control your fertility properly? Is he quickly sexually aroused? Does he have sexual self-control? It's very important. A man who does not have sexual self-control, it means you, as the wife, you become a sexual toy. He will not have respect for you. Even if you have had a child, he'll be waiting for you to stop lochia. As soon as you are no longer bleeding, it is there. So we need self-control. Self-control, very, very important. So what am I talking about? Have you known this person? It will take you 6 months to know this person, then you wait for 6 months. If it will take you 1 year, then you wait for 1 year. It will take you more than that, then you will wait. And this idea or that we are trying to discuss with somebody raised in group 1, we have to look at it collectively, and then we'll be able to advise the church, advise the parish, where the young people can be taught about education about life. If we call it marriage education, they will run away. But education about life. And within that curriculum, we will include things about marriage, because they need to know about it, not when they are in a hurry to get married, not when they are desperate to get married. You don't marry somebody you don't know very well. You have to marry your friend. So why am I answering this question in this way? That this is not the question you say, I want to know. There are some people who we call for 3-6 months. They will know that person very well than somebody who have been there for 3 years. He does not know anything. You have been talking to a man for 3 years, does not want to take you to his family. That person is very deceitful. And group 3 have told us that deceit is not good. It affects marriage. So it's not a yes or no answer. It is within yourself to answer that question. And I believe that somebody who wants to marry is matured. Because you are matured in all its ramifications, you'll be able to know, is this person telling me the truth or is not telling me the truth? Thank you.
Now, Prof, I will read out this. There are 2 questions that I believe should be taken together. The first one says, good evening, all. We advocate no sex before marriage in the church. How do we handle a couple who didn't engage in premarital sex, only for the woman to notice that her husband is running away from sex at all times? They don't have sex up to 2 times in a month. according to the wife, and he refused to go to the
So
hospital.
that is what I answered
Then
now,
the
that you should be
wait,
able to know your
yes.
husband. Go ahead. I'm waiting.
Then, is premarital sex a sin? What is the consequences?
Okay, thank you. I
So
think
these
that one
two
is in the top.
questions are there. Then we also have, Prof, can you hear me?
Yes, the first question is,
Hello, ma.
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. There's somebody wanted
moderator,
to
can
know
you
how does one encourage emotional openness, especially for men who are generally less open than women?
Okay. Please, if I miss anyone, you remind me. Well, somebody who is not, you got married and your husband, you people are not enjoying sexual intercourse. You have to find out, why is the man running away? These are the questions we need to ask before you marry. And we should teach our children about sex before marriage. Let them know when they are still with us, as they've grown up 18. We tell them that husband and wife have sex. And it's true that tell them the importance of sex. And tell them why sex should be there. And back it up with the Bible. Because many times children don't know about sex. They don't know about it, especially those who are not. They don't know about it. When we start saying, don't do, until we start saying do. We should let people create awareness about sex. Because especially the people we have said, don't do this thing, tell them about it. And tell them that the first sex may be painful. And it may be painful for some time until everything is okay. And they even need course on sex therapy. How the first sex should be. How the man should be very, very gentle until the vulva is properly lubricated. If you actually love your wife, you should make sure that your wife enjoys sex. If your wife is not enjoying sex, then you don't truly love your wife. A man can get sexual orgasm, but a woman may not, and yet she's having sexual intercourse with her husband. It takes a man to make sure the woman reaches that point. Now, the man that is not having mean that you would not talk about it. And that is why you shouldn't even enter. You didn't talk about it. You talk about and find out, why is the man running away? Is it that he's not having erection? Why? There must be the reason why he's not running away. Or because people have just started having sex and he's not able to penetrate properly. This, they need to see a marriage counselor who has experience in sex therapy. Something is wrong. There must be a psychosocial issue around that. And they should not keep quiet. They should come out. If they have good marriage sponsors, these are the people they can easily go to. And these marriage sponsors can take them to marriage counselors. If they don't have good ones, where they did their premarital course, they should go there. They can even talk to a priest. And the priest in the parish, most now, counseling, psychology, people read it now. You can easily get somebody who has experience in handling some of these things. Then, premarital sex, is it a sin? Please, I would have asked the person, answer it. According to the Bible, it's a sin. Fornication is a sin. And it has a lot of consequences. The Bible says that our body is the temple of our Lord Jesus Christ. And the temple of our Lord Jesus Christ is holy. So our bodies must be holy. And so that is why. And when premarital sex, fornication, leads to other things, leads to unplanned pregnancy, leads to abortion, leads to sexually transmitted diseases. Apart from sexually transmitted that we see, it leads to HPV virus. HPV virus predisposes one to cancer of the cervix. And one disease after the other. And these diseases can lead to infertility. They can block the fallopian tube. They can block the ejaculatory tube of the man. and they will not have, the man cannot bring out enough sperm cells, cannot ejaculate, and does not even have sperm cells. It's only just semen. And the woman, because it affected her, the fallopian tube has been affected. Even when she ovulates, the fibrated area of the fallopian tube has one that is very elongated. And that one is the one that collects the ovum from the peritoneum and leads it to the fallopian tube. And at a particular point in the fallopian tube, conception takes place in the fallopian tube, not in the uterus. It's after conception in the fallopian tube that it propels it to be embedded into the uterus, where it will stay for the next 9 months. And if anything happens in the reproductive organ, especially fallopian tube, there will not be propelling of the fertilized ovum, that is a human being, into the uterus. That's what happened. What about, this is a physical and health consequences. I enumerated the psychological consequences of depression, of sadness to depression, annoyance, low self-concept, and name it, that can even make you to get it to start to say, why am I living? Why am I this? I look as if my body has been mutilated. My body has been abused. Then you will not start having suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts. And then you can now, that can lead somebody to actually committing suicide. Economically, it affects the economy. If somebody is infertile, for instance, when you marry, start looking for children, start going from one place to the other. And I'm not saying that this is why this is the main reason of infertility. No, it can lead to infertility. And I've explained the physiology of how it can happen. So, sex before marriage is not the best. And when it happens again, it breeds doubt. It leads to lack of trust. Because the husband, when he travels, we think, because I was doing that before we married, maybe my wife will be going somewhere. She'll be going, he cannot trust you, and you will not be able to trust him as well. Who knows whether he has side chicks here and there, you know? But if you people trust each other and you believe in God and you trust God, then wherever your husband travels to go, you will be praying for him. You will not be thinking about side chicks, because you know he will not have time for side chicks. He will be thinking about the chicks that God has kept for him in his house. And he'll be looking forward to coming back home to grab his own person. So that's the way I look at it. The third question is what, please?
How does one encourage emotional openness, especially for men who are generally less open than women?
Okay, it depends on, you will know when you are trying to know the behavior of the person you want to marry. You will know whether he's open to you or not. At times, they are afraid whether you are going to carry what they want to share with you to now go and tell another person, or whether they are going to. There's nobody that is perfect. People will think, oh, with this person will know me as this person, and then he will not now be able to forgive me. He will not be able to open up. They will say no. They will not be able to say anything. But anyway, what we encourage people when they enter into relationship, they should not carry whatever that they have been dealing with before to carry it into a new relationship, because it continues to affect them. They should clear and delete all those and make sure they are entering into a relationship as if they are tabula rasa, you know, so that they can be able to forgive each other. Because if they carry a lot of burden of this or this, that does not mean that you will not ask questions. If somebody says, oh, I have been this, I have been this, but they may not tell you that, oh, I encourage somebody, I impregnated a lady, and I encourage her to have an abortion. Because anybody that has helped in abortion there's a process of forgiveness. There's a process because that child is a human being. And there's a process. So it's better if they have that kind of thing, they have to discuss with the priest. When they don't want to open up, it means that they have certain things they don't want to share. But if they open and they think that if they share that thing, that person may not forgive them. That's why they have to deal with their life properly, clear things, go to confessions. If you know that you have done certain things, you have killed through abortion, you have to go to proper confession and clear everything and know that God has forgiven you. So you don't carry that kind of things. If not, if it's just relation, people will talk, people will say, and there are certain things people don't want to tell you. If there is a schizophrenia in the family, they will not say it. And that is why you should discover certain things by yourself and then raise them up for question. People will not tell you, many people will not say they have mental health issues like schizophrenia in the family. They will not say. Even when you want to ask people questions, they will not come up to say that. And many people know that. There are some people who know this man has a mental health issue. They will now go and arrange a small girl for that person to marry. And now have that girl carry this burden for life. You know, such things, they're not good at all. They are not good. And maybe family will arrange, maybe they need money, they need something, they'll say, oh, we provide everything, we produce this and that. So there's a lot. And that is why what I will say, again, that we should not rush into it. We should try to find out. You can find out in 3 months, most everything. You can find out 1 year. You can, and if you know this person and is not talking and you know he needs to talk, then ask some straightforward questions. Let him not tell you. Let you know you have asked. Don't keep quiet and say he's not able to say, he's not able to talk. You ask questions that you have discovered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. In the case of public decency, what is its relationship with short or long courtship? In the case of public decency, what is its relationship with short or long courtship?
I didn't get your question very well. Please, can you repeat?
In the case of public decency, what is its relationship with short or long courtship?
Public differences or what?
Decency. In the case of public decency, what is its relationship with
okay,
short
public
or long
decency.
courtship?
Okay, in terms of people have been seeing you with this person, for a long time, people have been seeing you with this person. If there are stages of courtship, acquaintanceship, before you get to that, the thing is that people move from one. Acquaintanceship, you want to know people. By that time, you will not even know, don't rush into something. You are at the stage of acquaintanceship. You are trying to get to know each other. And that is the time that I think that should be long. That is the time that I think that it should be long, You need to know somebody, you need to know. But because if people start seeing you day in, day out, but they cannot, once they know, if you people are already living as husband and wife, the wife will now come and live in your house. You say you are doing courtship. Of course, the public will not like it. There will be public outcry. The public will not like it. Some people now, they finish doing traditional marriage, they will now move in. They will now move in to live with the man and say, is that courtship? They already married at that point. And I think you should not move in until you have done the church wedding. It gives you time to even know the person more. So I think the time of acquaintanceship, if you are already living with the person, they then the public will look at you somehow. But if you are not living with the person, they will not look at you anyhow at all. They will not look at you anyhow until you are sure you know. And then what I want to say is that for mothers, we should not use our mouth to push young people to go and marry. Somebody is graduating. They say, when are you bringing the man? Did you give the person the man to bring? We have a way of pushing girls, making them to be very anxious. We should check it. Somebody has just graduated from the university. You say, the next thing now is for you to marry. The next thing is now for you to marry. And we are saying these things, and the children are coding and decoding these sayings all the time. Small time now, the children will start dodging some places. They'll now start going to mass in the different place, now start doing this and that. Because when I see some mothers here, the question they ask me, they see you one day with somebody. When are you going to marry? When are you going to marry? You have not properly discerned. You have not finished the courtship. So parents and members of the church, mothers, we should be very careful what we tell to young people. Once we see them with somebody, that person is already their husband. It's us. We should change our attitude and our perceptions. You see with somebody, that person may not marry that person. And that thing is also, it happens to young people that in the seminary, even when they are there, they are trying to discern their vocation. If they say they don't want to do again and come out, he doesn't want to be a priest. He doesn't want to be a priest, you know? And that person is also there. He's ashamed. Even when he knows that I can't cope with this life. He'll be thinking about what people will say. What people will say. Our attitude, we should talk to ourselves so that we will be able to give them time to, to continue with the courtship and end the courtship very well when they are sure that they are really going to marry their friends.
Okay, thank you, Ma. Good evening, all. My first question is, can we have the PowerPoint presentation to our email? Yes, but not to the email. It will be sent to the group chat on WhatsApp. So if you do not belong to the WhatsApp, you can drop your number here and then you'll be added to the WhatsApp group. There you will get the PowerPoint presentation. Then the second question is, how will a guy know if his partner has menstrual issues during courtship?
If they are friends now, they will. If you menstruate, one day will say, "Oh, I am having dysmenorrhea." That is it. You can say it straightforward. I'm having menstrual pain. That is it, straightforward. But it's not menstrual issues. Is it that when he does not ovulate or he ovulates, he should be able to know. That is why we do fertility awareness. The young people should also know, because we have some anovulatory menstruations, menses that come without ovulation. So we should also monitor our menstrual cycles to know that each menses is actually coming as a result of ovulation or unfertilized ovum. And we can do that even when we keep a chart, especially the chart of syntothermal. That helps us to know our fertility, that we are actually ovulating. Because once we ovulate, before ovulation, our temperature will go up. Once we ovulate, the temperature will be down, and we continue to be down till we'll be up till 14 days after the ovulation, when it will come down, and we know that our menses will soon come. And if we are going out, we put a pad, take our pad along, because so that we are not embarrassed. The young people, we teach something we call fertility awareness. We should know that. And when we talk about it, we should, the girl should be able to ask the boy, do you have sexual arousal? Do you feel like having sex? There's nothing wrong with it. It's normal thing. I know whether we have control or not. Because if a man does not even have, does not feel have ejaculation or anything, maybe the man is impotent. The man is impotent. He's not able to perform. Ask both boys and girls, you ask questions. There's nothing wrong in such questions. There's nothing wrong. In fact, if I know my daughter is the I say, ask questions. So, does he believe? Ask some questions. And to make sure he has sexual self-control. Very, very important. Yeah.
Okay, ma. The idea of getting your wife to be pregnant before wedding by some mothers, how can that be avoided in marriage?
Yes, those mothers don't really know God. They don't know God at all. Pregnancy is a gift. The main reason for marriage, I identified 3 reasons in my paper. I said companionship, procreation, and legitimate outlet for the release of sexual passion. The companionship, you people want to be with each other. You enjoy the company of each other. Through this enjoying of company of each other, we enter into sexual intimacy. And that could result to pregnancy. Pregnancy is a gift. So somebody can be pregnant and after marriage, the person can abort and they will not get pregnant again. Are we trying to play God? Are we trying to play God? As a mother, you will even keep your boy. I remember my son before I said, don't go to this girl, or don't respect her. And I will talk to the girl, people should respect each other. You should respect each other. Very, very vital and very, very important. I'm talking about my boy. I didn't say, oh, you go and, no. It means that the mother-in-law does not know God, period. If she knows God, she'll be praying for them and believing that when they marry, the fruits of marriage will be their own portion. That's the way I look at it. Before you marry, learn your charts, be able to chart very well, identify that you're ovulating, and when you marry, I will even say delay pregnancy, play around, enjoy each other, get to know, because when pregnancy comes, it's responsibility. Get to know each other, play a little bit, play around, play with your husband, play. Because some husbands don't know how to play. They know how to jump on somebody to be having sex, but they know how to play. So play. So then when pregnancy comes, yes, consciously try to delay the pregnancy and know that you're ovulating. So when it comes, you plan the pregnancy by the grace of God, that will be that person's portion. The person be pregnant because it's the gift that God promised married couples. So we as mothers need to talk to each other. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Sorry for your health. But now somebody is asking, is it only the man that should make moves for sex in marriage?
No, it's not only the man, but why we think it's only the man is that they are the ones, their sexual, their reproductive organ is externally situated. So they are easily sexually aroused than women. And that is why most of the time, they are the ones, and culture also encourages them to do that. And culture also, when a woman is almost forefront at it, culture may look at her somehow. But if this is intimate things that husband and wife plan. I've handled a case at a particular time when the wife is salesman, she's the one, the husband is not interested in sex. But she's the one that is interested in sex. These are people who have had children and the husband is no longer interested. Okay? So it's not only the man that should make the move. Both the wife and the husband should. But most of the time, it is the men that they are the ones that make the move. And I have explained to you why they are the ones most of the time that make the move.
Okay, thank you, ma. Please, Techno, is it K15K? Please, can you rephrase your question, my contribution to the question of mother-in-law. If mother-in-law see you sleeping with the son, why can't she insist on pregnancy? Please, can you rephrase that question? But as you're doing that, he's also asking, how old will a woman be before entering marriage? And somebody else is also asking, what advice will you give a lady of 38 years old that is still searching for a life partner?
Okay, how old? We know that until you are matured, maturity, you are physically mature, that one comes very early. By the time you are menstruating 10, 9, 12, 13, 14, you know you are physically matured. You should be emotionally matured. You should be able to take decisions. You should be socioeconomically matured. You are along the way of finishing your school. You should be working, getting job, because you can't marry and you are coming back to your family, give me money for this, give me money for that. No, that's not very good. When you marry, you should be able to take responsibility. Then, you should be emotionally matured and you should be spiritually matured. You should know God and have a personal relationship with God. That is very, very vital. So by the time you are this, I guess, from 18 years and above, and most of the time, before many people finish school now, you know that from 21, if you have gone to private school, if you didn't go to private school, now it's 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. People are getting ready for marriage. Because between that 18, between that 15, 18, they are ovulating every month, every month. When you're a child, the molecular follicles that you have is already there. Every month you ovulate and have menses -1. Every month you ovulate and have menses -1. Until some people may start premenopause very early, maybe late 30s, 40, but menopause may come around 50 something. Some people can still marry at 38, they have their children. I have somebody who married at 40, a lady. In 4 years, she had 4 children. So it depends on who you are, where you are, and where you are going, and what you have asked from your God. The decision to marry and who to marry is yours. Nobody is going to tell you, marry this person or not marry this person. You are the one. I've told you the age when I think you are matured. You are able, you're emotionally, it's not that every time you are crying, the burden of family, you are going to cook burden, you're going to work, you should be able to go to work, then come back, arrange your family, look after your children. It only takes a matured mind to do that. So by the time you know, you are able to do that. But most men, we run our way. They are trying to cut somebody to 28. They will say, no, this one 30. They will say, no, let me go to this girl that's 18 because she will have children quick. And 20, 21, she will have children. 25, they will have children. 24, 26, 28, they will have children. And those people may not be matured. They have children quite alike, but they're not able to even manage themselves. So it depends on you. How old are you? But you know, a woman cannot go and say, this is the age I want to marry. A woman should know that the biological clock is not for her. So whatever she needs to do, she needs to be wise and take her decision fast. There's something they put in the marriage forum. That's somebody that is 30 and they say that the man is telling the girl, I'm not ready, go and get money from your father, or discontinue from the relationship, or you wait for me for the next 3 years. That man does not love the girl, period. I private chatted father and I told father, this man does not love this girl. This girl is this age, and you know the age of, and the girl should know. The girl stayed there, she has waited for this man for a long time. No, she don't wait for a man like that. Because the man will not wait for you. If you know you are getting in and the man keep on telling you, wait for you. No, you have to reason. Time is not waiting for you. You have a biological clock. You have to take decision for yourself. Before you are 30, you take that decision before you get to 30. That does not mean people that are 30 will not they'll get married very well. 32, 33, 34, they get married and they will have their children. But don't say you are waiting for somebody and that person is telling you, giving you rash reasons. Any man that is telling you, okay, we don't want, quit the relationship. He does not love you. Period.
Hello, Prof. Can we summarize now? Our time is up. Maybe we take the last question and conclude.
Yeah, that's good. Any other question?
No other questions for today. Somebody is only trying to let us understand that in Nigeria, the civil law and the church fix at least 18 for the woman and 21 for the man to marry. But that's just like a contribution to all what you have said. So, Prof, we want to thank you for today, for reaching out to us, giving us this wonderful talk. But in all, we want to beg everyone that help us to reach 1,000 subscribers. In YouTube, you can reach us at Catholic Marriage Forum. Please, we want to get to 1,000, let's say before the end of April. So you can actually post our links to other Catholic forums or even to your family and friends so that you can help us to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of April. So thank you very much, Mama, for the beautiful talk you have given to us this evening. So right now, I will invite Father for other announcements and what we need to do next. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In a very special way, I appreciate our speaker, Professor Mrs. Chioma Asozo. Prof, you have really done justice to this topic. Thank you so much for your presentation, for the teaching. God bless you. I just want to comment on what somebody put on the chart concerning the age for marriage, that 18 for woman, 21 for the man. Okay, but that is not for the church. I think that's for the civil law. But for the church, the universal law of the church in Canon 1083 says that a man cannot validly enter marriage before the completion of his 16th year of age, nor a woman before the completion of her 14th year. Canon 1083, paragraph 1. Then paragraph 2 says that the Bishops' Conference may establish a higher age for the lawful celebration of marriage. Now, the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria established a higher age, and the higher age is 16 for women and 18 for men. Okay, that is for the Catholic Church, meaning that anyone who enters into marriage below this age contracts an invalid marriage unless there is a dispensation given by the local ordinary. Just to make these points clear. Now, the second point I just want to make is about prayer. Prayer is a necessary premarital behavior. When people are getting married, it is important they put prayer at the center. Let God be at the center. You can do every other thing, but you cannot do without God. Let God be at the center. Let God accompany you. Present everything in the hands of God. Now, prayer should not take away the place of common sense. Prayer should not take the place of common sense. What do I mean? What it means that you have to walk, you have to pray. That is faith and reason. Prayer taking away the place of common sense could be understood in what I listened to in group 1, either group 1 or group 2, one of the groups, somebody mentioned in that group that some people, before they enter into marriage, somebody may have a partner, somebody who wants to marry that is SS and be praying so that the SS will change to AA. one of the groups, something like that was mentioned, you know that this person is SS, and we are told in the genetic counseling, we are told that you are AS, you cannot marry this SS. If you do, definitely you will get a child who is a secular. And he said, no, that I'm going to pray. I go to the Blessed Sacrament. I go to this place and pray so that the SS return to AA. That is making prayer to take the place of common sense. Take away common sense. That is not the church's teaching. You have to follow the right thing. Okay? You have to follow what is right. That's where we have counseling. You have to pray, then you have to apply your own reason too. Someone mentioned that it is difficult to advise a woman in love. When a woman is in love, it is difficult to advise such a woman because at that time, reason seems to be suspended. No matter the advice you give to such a woman, I'm sorry for mentioning women in this case, but mainly on the side of women, no matter what you say, that love, has blindfolded her, that every other thing you say doesn't make sense. It is something that we should talk about when we counsel young people. Prayer is important. Let prayer be at the center. Then apply common sense when necessary. Do all you have to do when it comes to counseling, when it comes to medical checkup and every other thing. This will help you to achieve a good marriage. Once again, I appreciate our speaker and I appreciate our moderator tonight, Mrs. Mary Okoloba. Thank you. I appreciate all members of the media team, members of the publicity team, and all those who help to circulate the information, the flyer for this conference. I appreciate you. Thank you all. God bless you. All our wonderful participants, thank you for making our time to be part of this program. God bless you. The next conference shall be on May 26th, and the topic is indecent dressing during wedding. Indecent dressing during wedding, May 26th. This program is being recorded. The record shall be sent to us on the group chats. It will be on the YouTube too after editing. Endeavor to subscribe to the YouTube channel and help us comment, share the video. Thank you and God bless you all. We